So we have decided we are going to put the house is up for sale. We already had someone that wanted to see it. Oh, hold on, I'm gonna spin around. I got to go back in the house. We're on our way to church and I forgot the keys. Can you believe that? I forgot the keys. So coming on in the house here, as you can see, our house is a mess right now because we're getting ready to pack up and get ready to move. But where? Well, we don't know yet. It's gonna get a little dark here. I'm going into our, oh, there we go. That plugged on. We're in our little hallway, I guess you want to call it. Yeah. Okay, there we go. And now I got the key, so now I can go out to the car. Haha. So, story behind the house. They came and they took the pictures, and then the following day we got a phone call. Someone wanted to see the house, and it's like, well, we can't do that. That was like at 10 o'clock in the morning. We got the text and they wanted to come at 1:30. Well, that is just way too quick for us. Since we're still living in the house, we need a little bit of warning, like a day would be nice. Because right now our house is a mess, trying to get things packed up. And it's kind of hard to pack things up when you're not sure where you're going. I think the Lord's leaning us toward Arkansas. I think we're really going to Arkansas. The reason is there's churches down there that we will get involved with. And the VA is just right down the road from us, 12 miles it would be. And we need to be close to the VA. So that's one reason. And another reason is it's a beautiful place to raise a family. So, okay, well, we're off to church. I'll talk to you more later. Bye. Well, hello, everyone. Nice to see you again. I hope you see my first, well, you probably did see the first part of this video. Remember, if you like these videos, hit the like and subscribe button. It helps me a lot, but helps the channel. Well, I guess you've seen by the beginning of this video, we did decide to sell the house. And the house will go on, is already on the market. And in the beginning, I told you how we had already we said no because a couple hours wasn't enough. We needed at least a 24-hour notice. Well, apparently they are serious about coming to check out our house because we got a text message after church if they could come tomorrow. So they'll be coming tomorrow to check the house, see what they think. And of course, we'll see. It doesn't look like the pictures because we're still living in it. You know how that is. But yeah, so as you can see by the beginning, our jungle out there is getting a little bit high. Those used to be bushes that I'm standing in front of. Used to be bushes, but they're really stretching the bush scenario anymore. So, and that was all in 1 year. So it's very exciting. You get one rainy season and see what you get. But so we're kind of nervous. Everything's on tension here. I think it'd be a different ball game if we had an exact place we were going to. Right now, we have it narrowed down to like 3 places. I think we're going to end up in Arkansas. but I'm not quite sure. Yesterday it was good to be somewhere else. Today it's there. So we just kind of have to wait and see where the Lord's going to put us. And yeah, so we'll see how that goes. So I thought today I would talk about our house and about moving, but I'll start out with our very first house that we bought was in Arkansas. And it wasn't in the best area, as I said before, and we never had any trouble the whole time we lived there. Well, while we were living there, we tore up the carpet and we found out we had hard wooden floors underneath. And that was before hard wooden floors became a thing all the way through the houses. Remember, this is back in 2002. So, 3, I mean. And we moved into, we went and we bought it. I remember then I had to put like $300 down towards the down, for the house when we went to close. And that was just like crazy back then. But, hey, it was okay. We made it through. And then we were nervous. We put the house up for sale because I got a promotion and, well, supposed to be promotion to Missouri. Well, we ended up in Missouri. Then we moved here. Well, there was a couple other moves, but with my job and everything, I moved a lot. We ended up back here in PA, and we had rented a house, and we lived there, 4 years, I think, 4 years. And come June, we have lived here for 5. Now, it was a blessing how we got this house to begin with. Let me tell you the story. Don't you love stories? That's the only reason you tune in. Well, anyhow, they told us we could look to buy a house in April of 2021. Well, okay, we'll look, see what's up. We weren't really like, oh, we got to buy tomorrow. We were just like, Lord, if it, we will. And, well, we went and looked at, this is how naive we were. We weren't even paying attention to the housing market. We weren't even realizing that interest rates were like super low and people were buying left and right. We looked at this one house we really liked, and don't faint now, but it was a little on the expensive side. It was $220-some thousand. I know, right? Now you can't even really touch a house unless it's above that amount. But anyhow, we liked it and everything, but chances of us getting it were very slim because of the housing market. Well, we were waiting, and the family was debating whether they were going to settle for the offer or not. Well, they came back and they said no, because they were offered a cash offer. Can you imagine that? I would have too if I got a cash offer. Crazy, isn't it? Well, anyhow, so we were just kind of looking, and I seen this house on a real estate website, and I called our agent, and I didn't like her very much. She didn't have much of a personality. It was kind of like one of those doctors that had no bedside manner. Well, we were looking at this website. We seen this house, and we fell in love with the landscaping and the front porch and whole 9 yards. Well, we called our agent about it, and they said, there's no house up for offer. I said, at that address, I said, yes, there is. It's on this website. And she looked at it, and she's, well, there's an offer already on that house. Do you still want to go look at it? Because we said we wanted to. And well, we're parked outside of the house. It's time for our appointment. And we said, yes. I was like, has the offer been accepted? She said, not as of now. I said, well, then we want to look at it. Well, we came in, had a beautiful foyer with a chandelier. We were in love. We fell in love with it. Well, we came down here in the basement, and I seen a Navy uniform hanging up. And I thought, oh, the person was in the Army. In the military. And the real estate agent said he must have been. It was an older couple. So I said, oh, okay. Well, me and my wife looked at it and everything, and we put an offer in because we knew when they would, it would be between two offers. And I guess I had mentioned in the basement that I was in the military too at one time. Well, I got a text from my real estate agent asking if I had retired from the Army, because I told her I was in the Army. And I said, no, I did 6 years. I said, I got out as a sergeant, a buck sergeant. I said, just tell him that. He'll know what that means. That's, you're at the first level of sergeant. Well, the following morning, I got a text from my real estate agent. She said, congratulations, you just bought yourself a house. I was like, oh, wonderful. Just out of the blue, we got the house. And we paid. Then my real estate agent, she told me in the state of Pennsylvania, we had to put good faith money down within 5 days. And this was Thursday, and the weekend counted. I'm like, well, we don't have that kind of money to put down as that and pay for the termite inspection. I said, well, we can't afford that. She said, well, what would work? I'm like, 500, but 300 would be even better. Well, they took it for 300. And 45 days later, I know 45 days later, but guys, VA loans, what can you say? Sometimes it's quick, other times you're there forever doing paperwork. So we got moved in June 24th, I think it was. And because it was just right after our wedding anniversary. And so we moved in. I remember that too, because we moved right after the 4th of July holiday. And it was, or right before, can't remember which. But anyhow, I do remember it was scorching out. It was just hot. And so we all got, and I just had surgery in May, and I was still recovering. So it was hard. Thank goodness our church, they just came right in and took care of things for us. Thank goodness we weren't moving far. We were only moving, we lived on one side of the tracks and we moved to the other side. And so all we had to do, really, we're pretty much not far from it. So we bought the house, we moved in, and it's been a wonderful house. But what we didn't realize, I was just looking at the fact that, hey, we don't have a big yard. It's really small. It can be cut in a half hour tops. And I was so excited about that. I didn't pay attention to all the landscaping that needed done every year to stay on top of it. We had showing the picture there where it looks like a new tree is popping out of an old tree. There used to be a tree there, a small tree when we first moved in. Well, that tree grew huge. It was huge. And I had it cut down because we were scared. It got so big that if we had a bad windstorm or another storm come through, if it was either going to fall on our neighbor's house or our house, and it would have just took them out. So I thought, oh, so we took it down. But I mean, there's no way keeping up with, it's a full-time job keeping up with those bushes and the weed eating and trying to do the landscaping in the front with all those rocks and stuff. I didn't realize there was that much that was going to need to be done. And we're in an area, of course, some of you know, we're in an area where it's not dead, but it is dying. And economy-wise, it's not totally gone, but it's not, it's on its way. So most of the time, people that graduate from high school either go to college and then they don't come back, or they graduate from college and they stay here and live in poverty. There's your choices. And so we're thankful that, you know, the Lord is even having our house shown already. So we kind of have special memories with this house in a way, but we're not attached. We have never been attached to a house because we have never been there that long. I had always, well, I moved with the military and then I moved with my civilian jobs. And so it's one of those things. Now, this house is big for us. And that was another consideration too, because we have downstairs, that's one big room. And then we have our first floor. Mind you, the washer and dryer's down here in the basement, which is a furnished basement, meaning it's more like a family room. And then you have the first floor, which has the dining room, foyer, living room, kitchen, all that stuff. And then you go up to the next floor, and that has the bedrooms and the bathroom. And then you go up to the very top floor, which is the attic, which is one great big room. It's been furnished. It has carpet. It's just like one big rec room. So doesn't matter what you do, you're always going up and down the steps. And anyone that's getting older, no, steps start to get a little rough after a while. So we are just very, very blessed. And we're excited to see where the Lord takes us next. And next week we'll have a good story to get. Oh, before I forget, I was talking last week about my son and the hailstorm and his car and the whole 9 yards. Well, he got a new car. He got a 2015 Chevy Equinox, which is kind of exciting and ironic, because his first car that he ran completely into the ground, it was to the point it was all rusted out, and he said you start the key, you wonder if it was gonna actually start or not. And that was a 2011 Chevy Equinox. So he's just going newer, same car. So that was kind of neat. And so he did get a rental car. He only drove it for 4 days, and he managed to get this car. So he's very happy, and the Lord has really blessed him. So, okay, I wanted to let you know that before I forgot. Oh, one other thing. I told the story about the donut shop in Arkansas. Well, my wife corrected me on a few things. It's amazing. Sometimes I am right on point with facts. My wife, let me tell you, if I miss it, she catches. The donut shop. The story I told about the donut shop, that was not our first time there, like I said in the video. And I could not remember what the guy said. Sean was his name. What he said. And now I remember my wife told me. Sean called his wife a wrench. And that's what started the whole thing. So, there we go. Corrections made. So, anything never seems right. Talk to my wife. She's always got it right, but don't let her know that. All right. Well, that's it for today. I hope you all have a good week. Remember, if you like the videos, like, subscribe, and share them. Okay. Talk to you later. Have a good week. Bye.